Today we're going to be talking about who are you believing? Who are you believing? You know what? I used to believe certain things about myself. It was as if these definitions were laid on me and I believed them. And not only did I believe them, I acted them out. But you know what? I'm old now. I don't have to believe certain things that I used to believe. I figured a few things out and realized that their friends is a real enemy of our souls. It's trying to tell us things about us that is not true. But God has a different definition of who we are. Mm-hmm. Who are you believing? I'm sitting here with our production manager, Cassie, and we thought it would be interesting to just grab her. She didn't know we were going to do this, and just say, what kind of wrong definitions have perhaps laid over your life?
One that sticks out to me, namely, was in my freshman year of college, was insecurity. I had just been in a relationship that ended, and I was in a series of relationships back to back, and when that ended, and I was 10 hours away at college, didn't know anybody, my parents had just divorced, just felt like I was the walking definition of insecure. I wouldn't leave my dorm room unless I had a full face of makeup on and my hair was straight as a board. I would just lock the door. I wouldn't answer it if someone came to it because I felt like I had to look perfect. I didn't want to get out of bed. I just started turning to drinking and partying and just spiraling down this dark pit. Just didn't know who I was anymore.
It's amazing what a false definition can do in our lives.
So something I've been struggling with is, for some reason, I keep thinking that I'm undisciplined. My word for this year has been self-discipline, and I just keep feeling like I'm not measuring up.
Which is funny because she's one of the most disciplined people I've ever known. Even when she was little, she was disciplined.
Really?
Yes.
Sometimes feel like I don't have things in order and that I'm just I think that's the enemy. I think he's really trying to make me feel undisciplined so that I'll actually live up to that and I won't have things in order in my family.
How did you become more disciplined?
You know what? I just really started to hear from God about how I really am. I am disciplined, starting to listen to your stories about how I've been disciplined, look at what I do daily with my kids, what I do with my work. And of course there's things I can still work on, but I'm not going to define my whole life as undisciplined.
Right.
Because
it's
of that.
Funny. Sometimes the very definition that we're believing that the enemy tries to make us think about ourselves is the exact opposite of how we really are. The exact opposite. I think you're one of the most remarkable, disciplined women I've ever known. And I think about when I was little, somewhere someone called me selfish. And that word stuck with me. And I have spent the better part of my life trying to prove that I'm not selfish. You know what happened? I became a horrible people pleaser, just overcompensating to try to not be selfish. Really, God's definition of me has been compassion, thoughtful, giving, life-giving, and all the things that I know I am now. The enemy tried to tell me I wasn't.
I'm going to recommend this book. It's called When the Enemy Strikes by Dr. Charles Stanley. And he really talks about how to recognize the enemy's definitions versus God's definitions. I love what he says in here. He says, never forget the enemy's purposes, to draw you away from God, to thwart God's purpose for your life, to deny the glory of God in your life, and to destroy you in any way he can.
I think it's a great idea to have what I'm going to call a definition party with your family. Gather your kids together around the table or go out to eat and have this discussion about how do we define each other? What are some words that we use to define one another? Parents, it's amazing how you define your kids by the words that you speak to them. You're compassionate to your kids. You're a sparkler. You are precious. And keep these words Put them perhaps in a box or something that the kids can keep looking at in their rooms, something that they keep on their desk. I also want to recommend having a definition date with your spouse. Sometimes what I've realized, and I'm so embarrassed to say it, sometimes I'm the most unkind to the man that I love the most, my husband. Define each other in uplifting ways. I like to write it out to him that you are faithful, you are authentic, and help define them in ways that God does. So we've been talking about the definitions that lay over our lives, the good and the bad. And there's a scripture that just resonates. This is what it says. We are destroying speculations and every lofty thing raised up against the knowledge of God. And we are taking every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. I love how this describes, we're literally destroying those speculations and lofty things that seem so big, that seem so real, those big words that seem to define us and define our lives. And we are taking every thought captive.
It's like the verse says, it's against the knowledge of God. God created us. Why are we allowing someone other than our creator to tell us who we are? Mm-hmm. You know, that's crazy. So you have to stop and don't recite those wrong definitions. Kind of a silly example of this is I was recently shooting a commercial and I'm in the makeup chair. You know, she's starting my makeup and I had started to say some of my flaws to her. I said, oh, sorry, sorry. Oh, I look so bad today. I'm so tired. Oh, I have bags today, whatever. And she said, stop. If you're going to talk about your flaws, I don't want to hear it because you're beautiful. And I was so caught off guard. I was really embarrassed by that, but I didn't even realize. Sometimes we don't even realize all the thoughts that are coming out and how hard we are on ourselves because of maybe definitions that we have chosen to believe.
Whatever you're believing about yourself, take it captive and look at the definition and say, does this line up with what God in His Word says about me? Does this line up with the love of God for me? Here's a few of the words that God uses to define you. Loved, precious, free, beautiful,
pure, new, righteous,
loved.
Friends,
if you are not defining yourself with one of these words, throw it out. It's not the right definition of you.
Thanks for joining us for Shine. Each week we have brand new episodes, so you're not going to want to miss any. Go ahead and click the subscribe button below, and you'll get your next episode.
We'd love to stay connected with you, so follow us on all of our social media by clicking any of the links you see here. And if there's a topic you'd like us to cover on Shine, just leave us a comment below.
Okay, guys, till next week.
Don't forget to shine!